What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Saturday, May 30th. These picks apply for the DraftKings Showdown slate. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, real quick for those who don't know how these simulated slates work, everything works the same. You build a full lineup using the players available in the slate. The only difference is the fantasy points each player scores is a fantasy score from any game that player has played so far this year. Only players with at least 15 games played are in the player pool. Pretty simple. They just take a score at random from previous games that player has played, and that's it. So knowing how that works, we've added some tools to Draft Dashboard so you can see all the possible outcomes of scores from each player, and we show the percent chance that the player has to score in each point range. So pretty handy. You can hover over the Sim Scores button and see right here exactly what scores this player can get for this contest. It will be one of these at random. And then you can see what percent chance they have to score in these point ranges. Okay, remember, we have a daily cheat sheet for esports for League of Legends, and that's linked from the Sports tab right at the top of Draft Dashboard. And we now have a cheat sheet for Korean baseball, NASCAR, and the MMA, and you can find those cheat sheets linked from the Draft Dashboard news. Okay guys, let's take a look at this DraftKings showdown between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. I'm going to give you the top value play on the slate, and that's Larry Nance Jr., projected at 25.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 7.1 times value. He's 3,600 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. A 21% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 46% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 27% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, and a 5% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points. So that's a 32% chance for him to score 30 fantasy points or more and absolutely crush value here. So I like Larry Nance Jr. here at 3,600 DraftKings salary. And another nice value play here is Jae Crowder, projected at 25.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 6.7 times value. He's 3,800 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. A 21% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 45% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 31% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, a 2% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points, and a 2% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. So that's 35% chance to score 30 fantasy points or more and crush value. So I like Jae Crowder here at 3,800 DraftKings salary. Okay, moving up in salary into the mid-range here, I like Tristan Thompson, projected at 30.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.9 times value. He's 6,200 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. An 11% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 35% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 44% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, a 9% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points, and a 2% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. So I like Tristan Thompson here at 6,200 DraftKings salary. Okay, now moving up in salary here. This guy didn't make my lineup, but it was only because I had a bunch of extra salary left over after playing those two value plays I gave you. but he's not a bad play depending on how you make your lineup. I like Kevin Love, projected at 37.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.1 times value. He's 9,000 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. A 4% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 21% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 48% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, a 25% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points, and a 2% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. So I like Kevin Love here at 9,000 DraftKings salary. Now this is the guy that I'm going with for captain on this slate. It's Andre Drummond, projected at 47.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's 9,400 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. A 2% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 7% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 35% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, a 44% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points, and a 12% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. I think this guy makes the best captain of the slate, so I like Andre Drummond here at 9,400 DraftKings salary. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. So look, guys, I know there's not a lot of sports playing right now, but we are posting a daily cheat sheet for esports for the League of Legends contests, and we just added these new DFS tools for the NBA simulated slates. We're going to be updating our tools to help you pick the best players for these sim sports, and I think these tools are going to give you a big advantage. There's no human element here. This is a stats game. This is a math problem. This is where our tools can really help you identify the numbers, the percent chance these players are going to score within these point ranges, so you know what you're getting into with each pick. Okay, the other two studs that I like is Bam Adebayo, projected at 41.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.1 times value. He's more expensive than Andre Drummond, and he doesn't have as much 45 plus point upside. So I'm definitely going with Andre Drummond as my captain over Bam. But I do like Bam Adebayo, projected at 41.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.1 times value. He's 10,200 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. A 2% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 15% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 47% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, a 32% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points, and a 5% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. So I like Bam Adebayo here at 10,200 DraftKings salary. And then we get to my least favorite stud of this slate because he's way overpriced. But like I said, I had a bunch of extra salary, so he did make my lineup. So I like Jimmy Butler, projected at 41.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 3.7 times value. He's 11,400 DraftKings salary. Let's take a look at his sim scores. A 4% chance to score 15 fantasy points or less, a 5% chance to score 15 to 30 fantasy points, a 55% chance to score 30 to 45 fantasy points, a 33% chance to score 45 to 60 fantasy points, and only a 4% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. So I don't know how they justify this 11,400 salary, but like I said, he did make my lineup because I used those two value plays. I had a ton of salary left over. So, I mean, it was between Kevin Love and Jimmy Butler. So I played Jimmy Butler. So I like Jimmy Butler here at 11,400 DraftKings salary. But you can see Andre Drummond with that 12% chance to score 60 fantasy points or more. That is the most on the slate, more than double than the other studs. And he's only 9,400 DraftKings salary, so he is definitely my captain. And those are my picks for tonight's DraftKings Showdown. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck. Okay guys, if you're getting any value from this video, please hit that red subscribe button. We put out new fantasy basketball videos every single day. So if you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification, you won't miss out on any of our new fantasy basketball and fantasy football videos. Tons of free stuff coming your way. It only takes a second, and it helps us push out more fantasy content for you guys to consume each and every day. It's because of you subscribers that make this possible. So thank you for supporting this channel. This is a quick reminder, you should be reading the comments of this video. We have some savvy basketball fans who watch these videos, and they often give great plays and call me out when my picks are wrong. Wisdom of the crowd is a great way to get a feel for what players the field likes in today's NBA slate. We also have a DFS tool that shows you what players our members like for today's slate, so you can come on in and check that out.